What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Captain Trucker, welcome back to the channel. I am in the Baltimore, Maryland area. In today's video, I'd like to talk about this thing called the Iran War and how it's affected the Philippines and sort of our reaction about what's going on. What we know as the people. What do we know? I'm not sure we really know, right? Good God. So, as many of you know, the country, the Philippines, is highly dependent on imported oil. And a lot of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? So already, diesel, gasoline prices have gone up significantly per liter in the Philippines. Inflation could be going as airline costs could be going up, which could reduce tourism and cause a lot of disruption for just average Filipinos and people. And it's affecting us here in the US too. I just filled this truck for $7.18 per gallon of diesel in Barstow, California, and I drove to Baltimore, Maryland, which is about 2,800 plus miles. So this truck right now cost about $1 in fuel per mile. That's what the company's paying before they pay little old me. That's a lot of money, right? That's why I'm glad I'm not an owner-operator at this time. Oh, how is this going to affect the stock market? Well, we've already seen a little bit of a dip, not too much. I'm buying in. Buy those dips. Hold. Buy and hold. We really don't know. We've been in a bull market for a while. Hopefully it will continue. We'll see what happens. However, so I guess the Americans killed like a lot of the top military leaders over there in Iran. And apparently when you like kill the leaders of a country, I guess it makes it harder to negotiate. So much for diplomacy, right? It's another, they're calling the office and I guess there's no one answering the phone. And then meanwhile, Trump's over here telling everybody, of course, like we got it all worked out. Everything's good. They're ready to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. And then I turn on the news, which I try not to watch, and he's at a cabinet meeting. And for like 5 minutes or so, he's telling everybody about these Sharpie pens that he got. And he's got like his name on it. I guess he has his own brand of Sharpie pens now for like $5 or something. Or he paid $5 for them, but they're worth more. And of course they have like this written in gold, I guess. That's part of his trademark. So nobody really knows what's going on. And I know the rest of the world blames probably the Americans for voting for Trump. I mean, I voted for Trump because I thought he was funny. And now I'm starting to think it's not so funny anymore. I'm being silly. I didn't really just vote for him because he was funny. See, what was going on in the United States, for our international audience, folks, is Americans didn't have any choice, okay? Like, in all systems, we supposedly live in some free democracy, and everybody talks about equality and diversity, and on paper, that all looks good, right? Everybody like, yeah, I like equality and diversity, yay! It's, it's all cute. But we all know in reality, it's just not the way the world's run, right? Because everybody has these groups and, different cultures and groups, they form power, and it's really, these politicians don't even run the world, right? I mean, we all know what's really going on. There's these creepy guys, they're in this dungeon, like petting cats with their billions and billions of dollars, and they plot and stuff, and they form conspiracies, and well, they do. I mean, that's what's going on. They control these people, these leaders supposedly running the world. I mean, but of course, a lot of people are blaming the Jewish people. I mean, I have a Jewish last name, but I'm not Jewish. I can't imagine like everybody in Israel's bad, and I don't think the 92 million Iranians are terrorists. So again, what's really going on, right? Small groups of crazy people, that's what I think. God. It's just insane. I got some facts here though, because I don't want to get too off topic. Oh, but I want to make a point though, is that the Americans had to vote for Trump. They didn't have a choice, guys, because the party systems here got really corrupt over the years. And I listen, I'm not an expert in geopolitics, so I don't want to, speak like I know what I'm talking about here. This is just, little old trucker me opinion, right? So what happened to the Democrats is they got so weird and corrupt that they're censoring like free speech, and they had all this woke stuff going on, and they're exploiting illegal immigrants to vote in U.S. elections because the U.S. Census, they don't like track illegals or something like that. And states like California, you don't even have to show like an identification to vote. You don't have to show identification to vote. Okay? So what was happening is they were trying to import all these people with those open borders to make it a one-party country. Okay? Now maybe some people in the international scene, they don't know that, but that was kind of what was at stake. Was that they were basically, in my opinion, using like illegal immigrants to vote in U.S. elections while censoring, free speech. And I heard like 12,000 people were arrested in England for social media posts. So what a wild, strange world. Anyway, the point is that Americans had to vote for Trump, okay? So where we're at now is, of course, Trump told everybody that he wasn't, he wanted to pull out of the Middle East in general, and he didn't want to get involved in all these forever wars. So now he's telling everybody, we got negotiations underway. It's going to turn around real quick. And look, we all know that this thing could drag out for a long time. It kind of reminds me of that propaganda back in the beginning of the Iraq war situation, all that with George W. Bush. You guys remember the Mission Complete banner? Yeah. And then we were there for like several years after that. That's the vibe I get right now, because I base all my, political knowledge off vibes. Am I wrong? So how is this going to affect the world? I guess it's usually about money, I guess. A lot of people are, I guess, irritated because they feel like, well, a lot of Americans too, they're like, oh man, I don't want to be, getting involved in all these international conflicts. We need to be, taking care of America and fixing the roads and the healthcare system and taking care of our own people. But I'm not so sure it's that simple, because the fact is that we're all interconnected, right? So there's really no simple solution, but I could be wrong. The truth will always come out in the future. Right now, we just have to deal with all the damage, us little people. So that's how it goes. Folks. But as far as, I guess, people feel like, why are we protecting Israel? And why are we protecting all these people? Well, I don't really know. But it's like, the people you think are calling the shots aren't not calling the shots. Maybe it's some guy on YouTube, as far as some weird disinformation campaign. Actually, I had some people on the channel accuse me of being part of some like Jewish conspiracy to like try to get people to populate foreign countries. And I'm like, I'm not Jewish, but I'm not Jewish, so I'm not really sure what that's about. But everybody's always blaming groups, right? I mean, I think cultures do. Maybe some just do it better than others in some ways, and people get irritated by that. I don't know. Everybody has their own identity. That's what I like about the expat thing, is we get to sort of, like I was saying, ideally strip away from all of our national pride and all of our nonsense and find out what our real nature is. That's why we go to these foreign countries and develop new lives and new opportunity. See, I'm going the opposite way. I like to go to developing countries because I feel like that's where you get more real life. Life's less complicated. But who knows what's going to happen now, because places like the Philippines are being hit hard. America's starting to feel this. Did you know that 80% of the oil in China, I guess, they get from that part of the world over there? from the Strait of Hormuz and all that. So I wonder if something's going on there. What's that about, right? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. You guys let me know what you think. It's Captain Trucker. Okay, that's me. That's my name. And I appreciate you all watching. So the best we can do is take care of our immediate families and be good to your fellow expats. Treat the locals well wherever you are. Share your thoughts and comments. All right. Bye-bye.